When I was 17, I came home from school to an empty house. Not just quiet, empty. Furniture gone, walls bare, my family vanished. On the kitchen counter was a single note. The cruelest sentence I have ever read. You'll figure it out. I didn't know what I had done wrong. The truth, I would later understand, was that I had done nothing wrong. They were just tired of a charade. The pretense of love had always been a heavy burden for them. The signs were always there. At 13, I spent a day making a birthday cake for my mother from scratch, only for her to poke at it and call it clumpy. At 15, I tutored my brother, Michael, through his finals, enduring his insults and the slam of his door. At 16, I handed my entire first paycheck to my father to help with bills, only to be called useless when I mentioned it weeks later. I was always useful, but I was never loved. My parents and my brother, my only family, had packed up and moved 2 states away without a word. I discovered this a week later when the landlord showed up, informing me the lease had been canceled and I had 7 days to get out. I couch-surfed until my welcome wore out. My savings dwindled to nothing, and I eventually rented a small storage unit, sneaking in to sleep on a thin mattress between boxes. I showered at the YMCA, ate spoonfuls of peanut butter for sustenance, and applied for jobs on public library computers, maintaining the facade that everything was fine. I was hired as a night shift server at a diner. The manager, a gruff but fair woman, paid me cash until I could get proper identification. She once let me nap in the break room when exhaustion nearly claimed me. I clawed my way up from there. A prepaid phone, meticulous budgeting, free online tutorials on finance, these were the tools of my survival. The first year was a blur of barely scraping by, but I made it. The turning point was a temp job offered by a diner regular, cleaning out office files. It paid triple my server wages. I said yes. That job led to another, and another. I was a quick study, always early, always asking questions. By 22, I was freelancing full-time. By 25, I had launched my own consulting business from a folding table and a borrowed laptop. By 27, I had a small team in an office. By 29, I was a millionaire, not on paper, but in reality. A paid-off apartment, a robust retirement account, real security. The first time I saw 7 figures in my bank app, I sat on my kitchen floor and cried. For 12 years, there was silence from my family. I saw my brother once in a suggested friends list online, married and living in the state they had fled to. I wondered if his wife knew I existed, or if he told people I had run away. I don't hate them. The emotion was always a profound, aching heartbreak. I go to therapy now, determined to stay unbroken. I keep a list of the people who saved me, coworkers, classmates, strangers, who showed me what real support looks like. Last week, a podcast interview I gave about family estrangement went viral. My inbox flooded with messages of solidarity. Then one email stood out. The subject line, "You're still our daughter." It was from my mother. No apology, just a clinical suggestion that we talk. Then, a message from Michael, "We miss you. Can we fix this?" I didn't respond immediately. My therapist, Melissa, advised me to sit with the emotions for a week. I focused on work, friends, the gym, but the emails were a constant hum in the background. My mother's felt detached. My brother's, while brief, held a flicker of something that felt more genuine. After 10 days, I replied to Michael, "It's been 12 years. What changed?" He responded within the hour. The podcast had shaken him, he claimed. He said he was only 15, scared, complicit but powerless. He said he was proud of my success. I pressed him, why now? His next email unraveled the truth. Their business had failed. Medical bills for his pregnant wife were piling up. My stomach sank. There it was. A week later, my mother sent a follow-up email with old, happy family photos attached. A life that felt like it belonged to someone else. "We made mistakes," she wrote. "We want to make amends." Melissa reminded me I was in control. Closure, she said, could mean reconciliation or a final goodbye. A part of me wanted to scream at them. A smaller, weaker part still longed for their love. I agreed to meet Michael alone at a neutral coffee shop. He looked older, wearier. The first 20 minutes were strained small talk. Then he apologized. Voice cracking. "I was just a kid, Emma. I didn't know they were going to leave you until it was too late." I asked the question that had haunted me. Why me? He wouldn't meet my eyes. They saw you as the strong one. They convinced themselves you'd be fine. That you didn't need them like I did. I told him about the storage unit, the peanut butter, the YMCA showers, the night shifts. His face crumpled. They told me you had a plan, he whispered. That you wanted to stay. They had built a narrative of my abandonment to absolve themselves. He seemed remorseful. He showed me pictures of his wife, Jenny, and their daughter, Lily. He didn't ask for money. When we parted, he hugged me. I stood rigid, arms at my sides. That night, my mother called. Michael had given her my number. She cried, saying how proud she was, how special I was. I asked her the same question. Why me? Her answer was different, colder. We were in debt. We couldn't afford 3 children. We knew you were smart. We thought you'd go to social services, get a better family. We thought we were doing you a favor. I hung up, blocked her number, and screamed into a pillow. The next morning, an email from my father, his first contact in 12 years, confirmed everything. It was a ledger of their hardships, ending with a request for financial help. Not a single question about my life. I forwarded it to Melissa. Her subject line reply, and there it is. We talked for an hour about boundaries, forgiveness, and enabling. The difference between what I wanted and what I felt obligated to do. I emailed Michael. I said I was open to a relationship with him and his family, with ironclad boundaries. No money, no financial support, and no contact with our parents until they took full responsibility. His response was immediate and telling. I'm disappointed, Emma. Family supports each other. You're being selfish. The guilt buttons installed in my childhood lit up. I didn't reply. 3 days later, he called, apologizing, saying he understood. I was skeptical but agreed to a phone call. It was civil until he mentioned our parents were visiting him and asked if I would meet them. I'm not ready for that, I said firmly. The next day, he texted that our mother was crying, that our dad was talking about driving to my city. Panic set in. I blocked his number and hid in my apartment. Then they arrived, pounding on my door. We love you. We're sorry. I sat on the floor, back against the wall, shaking until they left. I called building security. Michael was furious in his next email, accusing me of humiliating them, mentioning his wife's surgery again. I didn't respond. The harassment escalated. A brick through Michael's car window. An email from my mother. If you go to court tomorrow, you'll regret it. We were there to make the restraining orders permanent. In the courtroom, my parents played the victim. The judge saw through it. The orders were granted for 3 years. As we left, my mother softly called my name. I didn't look back. Outside, relief was short-lived. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. A photo of Lily playing in a backyard. The message. This isn't over yet. We regrouped at my apartment. Michael, a terrified Jenny, and little Lily. It was a clear violation of the order. We documented it, called the police and my lawyer, Marcus. That night, we took turns on watch. At 2 a.m., I saw my father's car circling the block. A silent, menacing presence. The next day, Jenny came to my door alone, holding a sleeping Lily. She looked exhausted. I only learned the truth 3 years ago, she said. Michael told me you ran away. Your podcast. I confronted him. She was horrified. She apologized for their part in it, revealing that my parents had been spinning lies for years, telling everyone I was mentally unstable and had stolen from them. She showed me social media posts my mother had made, painting themselves as victims searching for their troubled daughter. She had come to tell me the whole truth. I want my children to know their aunt, she said. But only if you want that. No pressure. After they left, I felt a strange clarity. The narrative was far uglier than I'd imagined. The final straw was an angry, threatening email from my dad, threatening to sue me for defamation if I didn't recant my story. Marcus assured me it was an empty threat. But the situation deteriorated further. My parents broke into Michael and Jenny's house, taking sentimental items and leaving a note. Family matters should stay in the family. We helped them clean up, change locks, and I insisted they stay with me in my secure building. We were eating takeout in my living room, a makeshift family, when my doorman called. A flower delivery. The card read, "We know where you all are. This isn't over. We obtained emergency restraining orders. In court, the judge heard our evidence and saw my parents' denial. The orders were made permanent. As we left the courthouse, I felt a weight lift. But on the sidewalk, my phone buzzed. Another unknown number. Another photo of Lily, this time at her friend's house. The message: "This isn't over yet." We went into protective mode again, hiding in hotels, looking over our shoulders. The legal system felt like a paper shield. Frustrated and angry, I decided to end the cycle. I emailed my parents, demanding one final meeting. Just me and them. No lawyers. My terms. I met them at a coffee shop. I was calm. "This isn't about reconciliation," I said. "It's about making you understand. It's over. You've lost. If you contact us again, if you come near our homes, I will use every resource I have to make sure everyone in your life knows exactly what you did. I will destroy the lies you've built." My mother cried. "We don't want to die alone. You should have thought of that before you left your 17-year-old daughter to fend for herself." I replied, my voice steady. My father blustered about gratitude. I laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "You think you're entitled to gratitude for the bare minimum?" I stood to leave. "This is your last warning. Stay away from my family." My mother called out, "Do you hate us that much?" I turned at the door. "I don't hate you. I feel nothing for you. You're strangers, and that is your loss." I walked out, lighter than I had in years. Weeks turned into months of silence. Michael, Jenny, and Lily moved closer to me. We built a new life, a chosen family with Sunday dinners and new traditions. 6 months later, a letter arrived from my mother, forwarded by Marcus. It was different. No excuses, no demands. An acknowledgement of their failure and a hope for a future apology, with the understanding I might never want to hear it. I keep it in a drawer, not as a promise of reconciliation, but as a token of their first, fragile recognition of my boundaries. Last week was Lily's 4th birthday. My apartment was full of noise, laughter, and love. As I watched Michael swing her in the air, Jenny laughing with friends, I thought of that note on the counter 12 years ago. "You'll figure it out." And I had. Not the way they meant, but I had figured out what family truly is. It's not defined by blood, but by choice, by respect, and by a love that doesn't abandon you when things get hard. I'm healing. We all are. Sometimes people ask if I'll ever forgive my parents. I don't have an answer. Maybe someday, maybe never. But I am no longer defined by their abandonment. I am defined by what I built after. I am defined by the family I chose,